So hello everyone, I'm Daniel Santos and I'm here at the Second Chemsex Forum in Berlin, and I have the pleasure to have Monty Moncrieff from London Friends and Antidote here beside me. He's a legend of charity work in London, and I have the pleasure to ask him a few questions about his journey on, helping, our community to face this phenomenon, which is called chemsex, that has affected our lives, the lives of our community. And Monty is gonna be, sharing a bit of, his work with us. So Monty, could you talk a little bit about yourself and about the work
Yes.
that you do in London?
Yes, indeed. Thank you. So I'm Monty Moncrieff. I'm the chief executive of a charity called London Friend, and we work in LGBT health and well-being. The biggest service that we run is called Antidote, and it's an LGBT drug and alcohol service. And through that, we help people who are experiencing difficulties with their drug or alcohol use. We help them to either stop or to gain more control over what they use, when they use, what happens when they choose to use, and also maintaining abstinence or maintaining those goals. And we have a range of services: one-to-one support, group support, therapeutic support to help people achieve their goals.
And how long have you actually worked with chemsex players, Monty?
Yeah, we started to see this about 10 years ago. So in 2008, we started to see distinct trends coming in. People were talking about using these three drugs: crystal meth, GHB, methadone, in a new way, very characterized by multiple sexual partners and sex that was lasting for a prolonged period of time. So all the characteristics of what we now know as chemsex.
And let me ask a quick question. There is a lot of stigma in chemsex right now, okay? And chemsex is this, we've learned this from the forum, that chemsex is a phenomenon that came to stay. More and more gay people, due to various circumstances, feel drawn to actually adhere to chemsex, to kind of like have fun, and then they start having fun, and then that subsequently becomes a problem. So how, as a community, should we deal with the phenomena chemsex?
Well, I think solutions have to come from the community as well. I think, understanding what chemsex is, understanding when it becomes problematic, but also not stigmatizing people who are choosing to do it. People get into chemsex because it's fun, because the sexual enjoyment is enhanced by the drugs. And unfortunately, for some of those, we see that sort of spiraling out of control after a period of time. It started to impact on their jobs, on their relationships, on their finances, on their accommodation, sometimes criminal justice involvement as well. So that's the kind of, sort of when things start to go wrong. I think, though, we need to destigmatize this because we know that stigma acts as a barrier for people coming in to access support. And what we want to do is, if people are feeling that their drug use might be getting out of hand or might be starting to cause a problem, we'd rather see them earlier. The earlier they can come in, the more we can do a preventative intervention. We can talk to them about making changes to adjust their drug use. It doesn't have to mean stopping. We can talk to people about controlling their use more, having more control over when they use, what they choose to use, for how long a period of time, who they choose to use with, and what behaviour they engage in that. Other people, the solution for them might be that they want to stop for a period of time or forever. So we help them do that. But I think when we're talking about stigma and chemsex, we're talking about the stigma that drug users experience. We're talking about the stigma that gay men experience, the stigma that surrounds gay sex and our right and entitlement to our sexual identities and sexual behaviour, which for so long was criminalised. But we're also talking about, potentially HIV stigma as well, potentially stigma around hepatitis as well, stigma around injecting drug use. So lots of things coming together and, sort of causing multiple areas of stigma. And I think we just need to try and understand the difficulties, understand the routes that men get involved in this. And, nobody chooses to get involved in drugs to be problematic. People, are introduced to drugs sometimes by friends or by sexual partners. And it's use over a period of time that really starts to can become problematic for them. But the easier the less stigmatized we make it, the easier it's going to make people who are experiencing difficulties. It's going to make it easier for them to come in and access some support. And as we say, we'd like that to happen as soon as possible, because then we can do hopefully a better intervention with a better outcome.
And if there is someone right now watching this video, and how can this person make an assessment if their chem use has been problematic or not? For them to self-assess themselves and then seek help. How can they self-assess and say, okay, this is actually these are the key points that I have to look out to see that my chem use has migrated from recreational to problematic. From the experience that you have with the guys that you actually deal with.
So I think everybody's circumstance is going to be different. So it really is a case of recognizing, is this impacting on your happiness for a start? Are you upset around your chem use sometimes? Are things happening that you don't feel in control of, that you regret? Is it starting to impact on other areas of your life, other aspects of your health? Have you had like an HIV diagnosis, for example? Have you had an STI? Is it starting to impact on you getting to work on a Monday? And the stability that you have in your job? Your finances getting out of hand? Is your partner or your friends or your family worried about this? These are all aspects to just sort of reflect on. As we say, just because your drug use is getting out of hand in one area, it doesn't mean that you're going to have to change every aspect of your lifestyle. We say, for some people, getting more control over when they use can be a really positive thing and help them to manage it, just like people will manage alcohol, for example. But for other people, being able to stop your use or change it in some way to prevent it becoming more problematic, to prevent it, impacting it in much bigger ways, is a really positive step, and that's why early intervention is really key.
Is really key. And if you were to give, so that we could end the vlog, if you could give a last message, from the bottom of your heart to that person that is over there, what would that message be?
I think, if you do think that things are getting out of hand, really, be assured that we work with lots and lots of people who make really positive changes. Some people feel they've really hit rock bottom. They've lost their jobs, they've lost their house. Lots of things have really gone wrong for them. But I think, people have the ability to make those changes themselves with some support. It's much easier for a lot of people if they have some support to do that. So please reach out, get some information about your using, get some support to put the changes in place that you need to make, that you feel comfortable with, and know that there's a really strong recovery community out there that can help.
That's right, and I think in the end of the day, it's your decision, it's your choice, and it's your choice that has to be respected in the end of the day. So you're destigmatizing chemsex, I think it's the most important thing. It came to stay. It's the frequency and quantity, and how often we do it, that's going to measure if we have or not a problem with chemsex. So talk to you later. Bye-bye.